And now, ladies and gentlemen, the next award, which is for outstanding contribution in the field of social and business innovation, which is being presented to Mr. Steve Killelela, Chairman, Integrated Research Limited, Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome him. He is the Chairman and Founder of Integrated Research Limited and is an entrepreneur in high technology business development. He has developed highly profitable global companies with exceptional track records. He's at the forefront of philanthropic activities too, focusing on sustainable development and peace. Mr. Killelela has a strong passion for sustainable development and in 2000 established the charitable foundation TCE, which specializes in working with the poorest communities of the world. TCF supports projects and provides sustainable futures for the community, such as clean water, tuberculosis eradication, housing, agricultural development, and famine relief. Mr. Killelela is also the founder of the Global Peace Index, the first ever tool for measuring peacefulness of countries and identifying the correlations of peace. The Global Peace Index today is now considered a landmark. We are delighted to have Mr. Steve Killelela with us today, and I will now request Mr. Praful Patel to kindly do us the honors of the presentation of this award to Mr. Killelela. We would also request him to present the scroll which goes with the award. It's a small request to the lensmen, our very, very good friends. We delight in having pictures from you, but I'm sure the people in the audience would also like to see sometimes what is happening on the days. So may I request you to kindly take some stands where people in the audience can also see. Especially. Mr. Killelela, many congratulations, and I'm sure you'd like to share your experiences with this distinguished audience. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Steve Killelela.
The Honourable Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Mr. Patel, Mr. Rupani, Dr. Mashalaka, dignitaries on the dais, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The Piridashini Awards are now in their 25th year and have come to be seen as one of the leading awards of Asia. With it comes a simple message of globalisation. Nations no longer are isolated entities but are becoming more interdependent through commerce, security and culture. The awards recognise international achievements, and the international recognition of the awards points to the growing globalisation of the Indian nation. My personal journey in life has also been one of ever-increasing globalisation. I have started as a businessman, establishing 2 IT companies, which went on to become internationally successful. This then entailed travelling through the 50 countries from which they earned their revenue. And while travelling across continents, I've become struck by how many common values are shared by humanity. From this, I've derived great hope in the ability of humanity to find a common vision for our shared future, because this common sense of connectedness is desperately needed to lay the foundations to tackle the global issues of the 21st century. The 21st century is like no other epoch in human history. Global warming, ever-decreasing biodiversity, full use of the available fresh water on the planet, and overpopulation are just some of the major challenges that humanity is facing. Air and water do not understand national boundaries, and competing nationalistic agendas, devoid of a common set of interests and values, can only lead to global failure. My own philanthropic work over the last decade has led me to realise how achievable many of our challenges are. Our projects in some of the most troubled areas in the world. I have been struck by how far small amounts of money can go in alleviating human suffering. There are 3 examples that I'd like to share with you. 1% of the developing world is blind, and 40 to 50% of those people suffer from cataracts, which can be cured on average for under $40 per person. I can't describe what it's like to look into the eyes of someone who's been blind for a decade and has just had their eyesight back. Clean water, whether in Asia or Africa, can be provided for less than $20 per head. Clean water alone will reduce the death rate for children under 5 by 25% and clear out approximately 1/3 of all disease, as it's waterborne. When people suffer from hunger, they can be nutritionally fed for just 40 cents a day. On average, they need only to be fed for 90 days. What I've learnt from this is that Millennium Development Goals are highly achievable, but what is lacking is a generally accepted vision of why this is important, particularly in the developed nations. Our sustainability challenges provide the common cause. The starting point for achieving a sustainable future lies with global peace. This may seem like a utopian dream, but think about it. How can we ever achieve the levels of cooperation, inclusiveness and economic equity necessary to solve the global challenges, let alone empower the international institutions that are needed to create the policies, then oversee their implementation? Therefore, what I would say, peace is a prerequisite for the survival of society as we know it in the 21st century. The good news is, contrary to popular belief, the world is actually becoming more peaceful. Between 2002 and 2005, the number of wars fought decreased by 15%, and the number of battlefield deaths actually dropped by 40%. Last year, the global percentage of GDP spent on the military actually decreased, not increased. Peace is achievable but far from guaranteed. The key to understanding peace, the key to creating peace is understanding peace. This is what I am currently focusing on because peace is rarely studied. There are no commonly taught courses on the literature of peace, nor are there chairs specialising in the economics of peace or countries that study the history of peace. How can we create what we don't understand? There is one message that I'd like to leave you with today. In the past, peace may have been the domain of the altruistic, but in the 21st century, it's in everyone's self-interest. If the 20th century was defined as the survival of the fittest, then in the 21st century, survival will belong to those who are the most cooperative. I truly feel privileged to be accepting this prize, and I would like to thank the Academy for bestowing such an honour upon me. Thank you very much.